Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to do a Jenga block Liberty Bell. Excuse me, somebody requested one a few weeks ago and I was just wanting to do something different and kind of got a little bit excited about doing this, so that's why I picked this one for this week. I can't find the message looked at my couple social media platforms and I can't find the person that requested it, so I'm sorry about that. You're going to use some tumbling tower, aka Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree. You can find them in the toys section. I'm in Canada. We can't order anything online here. There's no online. It's only in-store shopping. But if you are in the US and you can't find them in the store, maybe ask the manager. Sometimes they could tell you if they're going to get them in. Sometimes maybe they can hold them for you. I don't know. I've had a good report with a couple of the managers in my area at the store when things come in. You can order them online from what I heard, and get them shipped to your store for free. Also, sometimes dollartree.com also has flat shipping rate for $5.99 or 50% off or something like that. So just keep an eye on the website as well. I am going to be using Wellbond. I buy it at Rona/Lowe's. I know a lot of crafters do use the DT wood glue. I suggest using DT wood glue and not using hot glue because they don't seal the blocks properly and they will eventually fall apart. As long as you use wood glue, just make sure read the instructions on the back just for drying time, because if you don't let it dry fully and you're playing around with it, it is going to break. I suggest getting a Dollar Tree. In the hardware section, you can get an L-shaped ruler, aka carpenter ruler. It just keeps your blocks nice and straight. So I do pre-glue some of the stuff as we go along, only so my video is not hours long. Now we are going to be gluing them flat, and I just started doing this in the last couple tutorials. When I mean flat is just gluing the blocks flat like this and putting them together and gluing them like that. If I say stacked, it just means one stacked on each other and just like that when you're gluing them. And I will do suggest also to keep a pen and paper. Just helps to keep track of the numbers and the blocks that we will use. Now I want to do the Liberty Bell like kind of in a boxed with it kind of hanging. So we're going to start with the base of it, and the bell will be added after. It's just going to be a Jenga block base, and then the actual bell will be something else. So I'm just going to cover it here. So you're going to need flat, you're going to need 15 across and another 15 across, and then you're going to glue them together. We're going to do the long, I'm going to call this the long side, and you're going to need 16. And you're going to do exactly another one with 16 across and put it there. Then we're going to do, I'm going to call them the short sides, and you're going to need 6 across, and you're just going to stick it in there. And another one 6 across, and you're going to stick it right in there. Then what you're going to do as you glue, and I'm just going to go through one side as we go along, as you can see where they're touching. So you're going to need to put glue on the base here. And you're going to I'm just going to leave it like that and then put it together all at once. That's going to go that way. The sides, you just need to put a little bit of glue on the sides, right like that. If you guys ever have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out on my Facebook Crafty Shopper page and send me a message. I'm more of a visual person, meaning that if you get stuck on a part, just show me a picture. It's just a lot easier than explaining sometimes, and I would be able to help you there. And no question is stupid, because sometimes, you know, silly things that we don't get sometimes, and You know, even myself, sometimes I have to write all this stuff down. That's why I write all my own stuff down, just to show you guys. So I'm gonna add the ends first. Then we got the glued sides here. I'm just gonna put it like that. And then you got the glued sides there. And you're just gonna push it like that. Just make sure they're even. I'm just gonna get them off. And then we were gonna just let that dry. Now that we have the bottom base all dried, we are going to add some poles, so to speak, but with Jenga blocks. Each pole is going to be 20 Jenga blocks. So you're gonna stack them like this by 4. Glue them on like this. Another 4. I'm gonna glue them on. Another 4. Like this. Another 4. And another 4, so that's 20. And you're gonna need 2 poles like this. Just gonna move these here, already pre-glued them. So you will have 2 of these like that. We're gonna put them in the box, and you're gonna line up the middle part here of 2 and 2 right in the center. And you're just gonna glue this side and the base on there. Same with the other side. Now you might have to flip them, just make sure that they're even straight up as you go. Then we are going to add a little top of the structure of the bell, and we're gonna do 1 row, and it's just gonna be 16 flat. Once those are glued on and secure, you can just stick a little bit of glue there and a little bit of glue, and we use Wellbond, not hot glue. And then you're just gonna center it like this on there to have it glued on top. And the way it should set is the second one on each side should be where it hits, that you'll see 1 Jenga block on each side just hanging over the top. Now that I have it glued together, I'm going to stain it. Now you don't have to stain it. If you don't want to, you can just use some brown paint from DT, but I'm just gonna use some gel stain dark walnut from Lowe's. Now that I let it, excuse me, I let it dry and painted it, we are gonna do the top part right here. And we are going to do, we'll start from the bottom. We're gonna do 2 blocks flat, another 2 blocks flat, and we're gonna glue them like that. Then we're gonna do 3 blocks flat. We're gonna center it right in the middle. Another 3 blocks flat, and another 3 blocks flat. You're gonna glue them one another until you get it like this. Once it is dry, I am just gonna file the corners just on the top a little bit on each corners, and I just use I'm just gonna use a nail file from DT or just a buffer block just to take the 2 right here and right there, the corners, make them a little bit more rounded. So I printed on the Cricut, Let Freedom Ring. If you don't have a Cricut, you could also just put some stickers, and I'm just gonna place it on the bottom like that. Now that I have the stickers on, we're just gonna glue this one top piece right in the center. If you count in, it goes 7 that way, 7 that way. So the marker would be there, and I would put the line between the 2 on the bottom right there so it's center. And we're just going to use Wellbond to glue that on. Once that is glued on, we are gonna do the bell. Now, DT has these 3 packs of little planters that I think they came with this color and a beige color. Now, depending on what you want to do, you could paint it. I had gold on hand, and if you follow me from, you know, I like using spray paint. I'm not a fan of painting. I got this one here. It's just metallic gold, and I sprayed it already. And I also did the inside. And just, if you don't have that, you could also just use some. You'd have to prep the bottom of the pot though, because I did try putting another color that I had from a different dollar store, and it didn't go on too well. So just be mindful of that. Now, once we do have it painted, the Liberty Bell. Now, if you're a Dollarama, because I'm in here in Canada, so we don't have these landmarks like you guys do. And like I said, it was a request. If you want to switch it up, you can actually just make it a plant stand. And I'll show you later what I'm talking about when the camera's flipped. So the Liberty Bell does have, I'm trying to figure out the best side, have a crack. And I'm just going to kind of do it. Now, I just kind of watched, looked at a bunch of pictures, so just going down. I'm just going to use this little tool is from DT, and I should actually look at the picture, but you get the idea of going down like there's a crack in it. I'll do that up after. Now, to attach the bell underneath, once you have the line and you have this painted, you're just going to take 3 more blocks of Jenga, and they're just flat. Doesn't matter which way you put it on. And where the line is, I'm going to try to center it. Going to paint this piece black, and then we're just going to glue, and we are going to use Well Bond. We're going to glue it right on top center, and we're just going to round the edges with a nail file. Now, the nail file is just a DT coarse nail file, and you just rub off the edges. Not rub them off, but sand them down a bit so they're not so pointy. And once they're black, you can just glue it on. Now that I added the line and I glued the 3-piece of blocks on top, we are going to make the bell part. Now, I just have these small, in my stash is just these small styrofoam balls, and all I did was just stick one of these, this little tool they have from DT in there, and then I just painted it black. We're just going to take some hot glue. Piece of jute rope. It's going to just have to sit for a minute. I'm just going to let this dry and then start the camera again. Now that I got it secured on the bottom, I just put a little bit of hot glue on top just because it was unfraying. So I did just kind of measure it and underneath, and it's just going to come out a bit. It's going to be hard to see on the camera. That'll just be sticking out a little bit. You'll just see a little bit of the rope underneath, and you're just going to hot glue that right on there. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the bell now, and we're going to put it center where the 2 middle blocks here is the center. And we are going to, and I'm just going to show you here, we're going to do a little bit of a mix between Well Bond and hot glue. Thing is, you don't, or you can use E6000 if you want as well, but you don't want to do all hot glue. I don't know. I've just, depending, It's not heavy. I think it would hold, but I'm just gonna do a little strip. You just don't want the hot glue and the well bond to touch because then it won't set. I'm not gonna put the hot glue on. I'm just gonna do a little strip here, and then I'm just gonna stick it right center in the middle, right there. Now that I have it glued on, we're just gonna, this is a little bit bigger than the small twine at DT and kind of the thinner than the jute rope. We are going to add some suspensions like it's holding the bell. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of hot glue here. Sorry if you guys see my head. I'm gonna try not to peek underneath. I'm gonna put it like right like that. I'm gonna move it up. So I wanna kind of do it on an angle. Just wanna turn around here. Gonna do just kind of on an angle. Just to hold it in place. Woo. I'm just using this block to hold this up. And then we're just gonna put it right there. So I'm just gonna look where I'm gonna cut it. And exactly like the still a little bit too long. And right like that. And then we are going to repeat this step exactly on the other side. I wanted to put some trivets just on top. I guess one of the real pictures of the bell had trivets on top. Just the pink pearls from DT. Now I have the bigger ones. They do come in smaller ones. Use my famous spray paint because you guys all know that I like to use spray paint instead of painting them, and it comes out better coat. Now, I painted them brown just so it's offset of the black. I just want to put 3 here. I'm gonna have to hot glue them because I don't know if you've used these before. The sticky part usually, oh, this one didn't. Usually the sticky part stays on the plastic. So you might just have to put a dab of hot glue right on the bottom. And I'm going to use 5 of these, just like that. So now for the bottom, you can do some reindeer moss, say with some succulents if you want, as long as you keep it, you know, some flowers. I was gonna do flowers and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do some rocks. Now the thing is, rocks are pretty heavy. Even though it's glued, you just gotta make sure it's sealed. You can also put an extra layer of hot glue or paint on along the edges with some well bond. I'm just gonna stick some fluoroform in that I had. I cut it just so it takes up space and then we don't have to use a lot of rocks in it as well. And I'm just gonna stick that in there, and I am just gonna put some rocks in there. So now that I put the rocks in, I just wanted something a little bit extra on the bottom. I didn't want to put any plants or anything like that. Oops, sorry. I just had these little plants things in my stash, and I just thought I could just put them right in the floral form on the corner. In Canada here we have no American I guess you know, decorations that I could just add a little bit different to it. Even, you know, what would be really cute in there would be just little flags, American flags in there, you know, the ones that are on the toothpick. That would be super cute too. I'm just gonna change the view of the camera, and for my fellow Canadian crafters, I can just show you something different that you can do with this build as well. All right, so now that we have this all put together, I was gonna add some flowers in the front. You can do that as well. I just have some vine, and I'm not sure, it was just in my big bags, flowers and plants, and I'm just gonna wrap it around. hot glued in the back, and just because of the wire on it, I'm just gonna wrap it all the way around, like I think 5 times, and wrap it all the way down. And I think it just adds a really nice touch for the green. So I got the vines glued on. I think it turned out really well. I like the green on the kind of rustic look. It makes it pop better. You can swap it out for my Dollarama Canadian crafters. You can always swap this out. DT has those little macrame kits that you can have like a little hanging plant here. You can swap out the top, and these signs just came in from Dollar Tree that you could put right on top. Just be mindful that the top layer of Jenga blocks is just one thin layer, so you don't want something too heavy on top and too heavy on the bottom. So if you are going to use the macrame kit, make sure that you use the little plant pot, that you don't use a ceramic one, just because they are a little bit heavier in the weight. You can swap out the bottom for green, you know, reindeer moss, and swap, even keep the rocks in there if you have the macrame kit. This turned out super sweet. Thank you for the lady that has asked me to make this. I had fun making it. Sorry, I don't know your name because I was trying to find your name somewhere in my messages and I couldn't find it. I am taking requests, so let me know what you guys want to see. You know, sometimes there's that odd one that, you know, I like to do just because it's something new to me, just like this build. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you soon. Happy crafting. Bye.